Today I'm going to talk about how to potty train a stubborn child. I get this question so often, so I can't wait to tackle it. We're going to talk about the do's and don'ts of potty training a stubborn child. So let's start with the don'ts. Don't do potty training boot camp or intense potty training methods. The reason for this is that we already spend so much of our day telling young kids what to do. In a given day, a kid hears about 80% of what they should or shouldn't do. So when you do potty training boot camp or something intense, then you're calling all the shots. You're telling them when to sit on the toilet, how long to sit on the toilet, what they can wear, when they can leave the bathroom. That's a recipe for disaster. Stubborn people don't like to be told what to do. So using a boot camp or an intense method only creates resistance and makes them want to do the opposite of what we're asking them to do. We really have to do the opposite of that and get them in and bring them in. So what to do, number one, is make sure that you have a child who's interested in potty training. Now, I'm not saying that your child's going to come up to you and say, I want to be potty trained, please take away my diapers and give me underwear. Let's be realistic. That doesn't happen either. But if the child likes to listen, if you say, hey, let's read a potty training book together, you don't even have to say potty training book. You could just say, let's read this book together. And if they're interested in listening to the book, that's a sign that they're interested in potty training. Or if your child is wanting to follow you to the bathroom, that's a sign that they're interested in potty training. So they're not going to be saying, I want to go potty, because let's be honest, stubborn kids, they're not going to show that side. But they will do subtle things. Number 2 of don'ts. Don't build potty training up to be this magical, beautiful experience that it's really not. Kids hate feeling tricked or manipulated, and especially stubborn kids. If they feel like you made this out to be something that they would love and that they would enjoy, and then they soon see that it's awful, then you're going to be worse off than when you started. So what to do is to set realistic expectations. So potty training, especially for a stubborn child, is never really super exciting, but it is something that you can get them on board with. So find ways to involve them in the process, find ways to get them on board and to motivate them based on their personality, to motivate them based on their interests, and to find things that get them actually into the bathroom and get them interested in sitting on the toilet in potty training. So I have a special guest expert today who I'm going to introduce you to, who's also going to help give us an insight to the inner workings of stubborn kids and how to get them to want to be potty trained or how to avoid a backfire. For this talk about potty training a stubborn child, I brought in my special guest speaker, my daughter Caroline, to give us some good insights, because over a decade ago, she was potty training and has some valuable information to share with us too.
Yeah, I'm only here because I'm the stubbornest person she knows. Otherwise, she'd use Dad.
Let's be honest, our whole family is full of stubborn people.
Stubborn donkeys. Grumpy and stubborn.
And so we've had to learn how to work with stubborn people, because if you try and tell a stubborn person what to do,
Rebellion.
There's rebellion and
chaos.
And
they'll try to irritate you the best they can, which will probably happen.
So it just backfires when you try and get a stubborn person to try and get them to do what you want them to do. It doesn't matter whether they're a toddler or an adult. So when you're potty training a stubborn child, just remember that even adults have these traits too. So the key is to do something that motivates them. So what motivates stubborn kids and people?
Well, I know I personally am very competitive, so maybe make it into a competition.
Oh, actually, that reminds me, when you were learning to potty train, what motivated you is that you were the only kid in preschool who was still in a diaper. So competition definitely motivated you to get potty trained. When you were in the middle of potty training, I would do a bunch of things that didn't really get a lot of results. But then when you were in school and you were the only one in diapers because you were the youngest one, and that really motivated you because all of your friends were wearing underwear.
Yes, good old peer pressure.
That's right. Sometimes there's good peer pressure, especially like in potty training and potty training stubborn kids. And another great way to get your stubborn child on board is to play games with them.
Games are always something that would help because it takes away so in kids' mind, they have two categories, good and bad. If they don't like potty training, they put it in the bad section and try to avoid it. But if it's in the good section, then they'll want to do it and be motivated.
Oh, I love that. So, like, getting your kid to feel like this is playful and enjoyable and this is going to be in the good section can definitely motivate them to get on board.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about, like, forcing a kid to go potty 20 times a day?
I think that person's not going to get very far.
She's right, guys. Lots of times when people try to send stubborn kids to the bathroom 20 times a day or even spend the whole day in the bathroom, it totally backfires. And another thing to consider is that when you are potty training a stubborn child, just making it a natural part of your day. So, for example, do you remember potty training?
No.
She doesn't. Because even though she was a stubborn child, and still is, we made it exciting. Like, I found things that she was interested in, and I found ways to make it gradual and just part of our normal routines, which I explain in great detail in my course, Peaceful Potty Training, so that it turned out like potty training just seemed normal for you and not like this giant ordeal that was like pulling teeth.
Yeah. The better you make it look and it actually is, or the more the kid likes it, the more they're motivated to do it and likely repeat doing it.
Now, keep in mind that we don't want to make potty training sound like this super exciting thing that it's not. You do have to keep it realistic because otherwise you might feel tricked or manipulated if you make it sound like this glowing, perfect, amazing thing. Whereas we want kids to be excited for it, but not feel tricked into it.
Yeah, if you try to trick them, it will not go well for you. Just telling you that now.
Great tips.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thanks for joining us and giving us this inside information into something that you did over a decade ago that other parents and caregivers can learn from. I hope you found that helpful. I know that it's definitely great to hear a kid's perspective, especially someone who potty trained over a decade ago and can really tell us how it feels on their side of things. So if you want more help with potty training stubborn kids, that is one of my specialties in my course, Peaceful Potty Training. I can help you give tools to motivate your child, understanding their personality, and ways to just incorporate it into your day-to-day routine so that it's not this giant tug of war or this big battle. So check out peacefulpottytraining.com and I will help you on your way. Happy potty training!